Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Good Monday. Is it Monday? I'm always so confused with dates and times and location. Spring Forward. If you didn't know, Spring Forward happened. Hope you were not an hour late for work today. I got music playing, ready, y'all. I'm ready today. We have been in here just having us a good time, cracking up with each other. Uh, so we have planned our music choice today. But happy Monday. I hope that the snow has not gotten in the way of the things that need to get done today. I am so excited for this conversation with Tamiko. It has been a pure pleasure knowing Tamiko and just getting to enjoy her presence. So as we get ready to get started, I want to invite folks to join us. Please send the link out to people. Tamiko and I are going to take a quick second and we're going to send it out to folks. This conversation is definitely going to be about letting go and being great. So if you know somebody who needs to hear that, is on that journey, send them in this room and enjoy this Teddy P. Mm, mm, mm. So random question, Tamiko, while we sending out our text messages and stuff. Oh, we got a little bounce back. Okay, so one of my random questions are: if you could live in any other era, or not era, but any other decade, what decade would you have liked to have been alive for?
The 1970s. Like, I mean,
Me, I want to be a
yes,
teenager. Like I want to be like
yes,
a grown up. Like
yes,
what?
yes, yes.
What?
I think that would be awesome. I love the afro. I try to rock mine as many times as I can. And I love the bell bottom pants and the big earrings. But it was so much Black pride, Black energy, Black love during
Oh
that time.
my
And
god!
would love to just do the fashion thing and then also yeah, just be in that phase again and just hear the conversations and everything. Yeah.
Like how much would I love to be a part of a movement, right? The
Yes.
movement, right?
Yes.
The colors, the music, the time when so much music was about just love and loving on each other and loving ourselves, right? Celebrating the greatness that is
Yes.
uh, being black in America, right?
Yes.
Like the business, the ownership, the I mean all the things. Like I yeah, if that was any other time, any decade, I would have liked to been like an active teenager. Like it would, and
Yes.
oh, the rebel I would have been. Oh my god. Oh good god.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I definitely would not. I would definitely would like to be a part of that era because I definitely would have showed up and showed all the way out. Um, okay, we are sending our chats, our hootie hoos. Y'all know I love a good hootie hoo. I'm from the West Side, if y'all didn't know, of Chicago. So I always sending out a hootie hoo.
Yes. And I'm from the
Sending
South,
out my hootie hoos.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Really? Do y'all know hootie hoos?
No, we don't.
Dang. You gotta send a hootie hoo.
Woo woo. Yes. Okay, we're gonna focus. We're gonna focus.
Okay. Let's focus. I sent my last text message out to folks, inviting them into this space. Good afternoon, happy Monday, and thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this Monday afternoon conversation. I hope you are in somewhere warm and not allowing the snow of Chicago to steal your joy, because today is another day, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Tanisha Jointer. I am the founder of Invested Consulting Firm. At Invested Consulting Firm, we provide customized training to community partners and school districts across the country that really focus on trauma-informed practices and healing center practices. We are wanting to do work with you. We are hoping to invite you to create the type of space that you need and deserve to thrive. So that's what we do at Invested Consulting Firm. And you can follow us at Invested Consulting Firm on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Let us invest in you, I think. And I don't know, because that's not my jam. But I am so excited to continue these like women making herstory conversations. For those of you who missed our Black History Month series, this idea came to us as a organization. Just really trying to think about who do we know in our network, right? Who is in our network, who is in our reach, and how do we make space to celebrate them? As a business owner, and just as a human being, like I don't believe that it is enough for me to make it. Me making it is not the way, right? It's me making it and everybody around me making it. So I'm gonna make it my business and my mission to shout out, to celebrate, to highlight, to elevate whatever platform, how big, how small that I have it. I'm gonna share with people that I know and I love. And so we started with Black History Month, celebrating Black history makers. And I thought, why not keep this going in Women's History Month? I know so many amazing women doing so much amazing work. And so I wanted to kick this off and continue the conversation. Also, shout out to social workers. This is Social Worker Appreciation Month. So if you know a social worker like me, celebrate us. Give us all our flowers, and I take all of the flowers, all of the gifts. Give me all of the things. That's one thing I miss about being in school is like the appreciation week and like the cute stuff my kids would give me. And if y'all not watching Abbott, check out Abbott because Abbott Elementary definitely speaks to all of the truths of school. But anyway, that's me. That's my business. That's how we got here. I am so excited to be in this space with Tamiko, and I'm gonna turn it over to Tamiko to introduce herself. Tell us about you. We want to know who are you. We want to know all the good stuff, but just give us a little bit. Tamiko.
So I thank you so much, Tanisha, for creating this platform, creating this space, actually having so many women and just doing the things that you do. I am smiling. I always smile, but I smile even bigger when there's a collective collaboration effort in what it is that we are doing. And so I thank you so much for form in this space for women to just show up in this moment and show up as their full authentic selves, which I think you show up all the time as that anyway. So it makes it a lot easier. So thank you so much for that. I wear many hats. I think a little bit more hats than I probably should wear. And I have two different projects that I am working on, like that are my business and are my why. And one of them is I do a homeless initiative for those experiencing homelessness across Chicago. And so that I've been doing for the past 6 years now, so since 2017. And we give out feminine hygiene products to shelters, organizations, and schools with very high homeless populations every month. And it's been based on donations. And there's also a mental health component to each of the months and the time that we spend together. And then also, I was a former educator. This would have been year 23 in the educational realm. So started as a teacher.
She started when she was like 12, y'all. Continue.
Yes, and I still look the same age now, so it's good.
Right. Continue.
So I was a teacher and then also an instructional coach. And also I work with principals, getting them to collaborate with each other to build programs for their students and also their educators. And then also I worked at the district level and I was over the teacher appreciation campaign and getting educators' voice on policy and building out 2 collaboration platforms for educators in so many spaces, and then created policy on appreciation and recognition. So all of these things were super important. But all of these things within every single entity, I saw people over products, people over curriculum, people over things that others kind of deemed as important. And my company, Let Go Be Great, was founded to really make sure that we focus back in on the people who are behind the scenes, running the process, all of that. And the only way we can assist them is if we be honest with what we need to let go of. And so for me, I was my first client in terms of Let Go Be Great, because the dash in between our company is the most important part. I'm gonna say that again. The dash is so important. And a lot of people don't share what is in their dash. They only
Yes.
share the final result. They only share, here is the greatness that I did. I'm going to post it on social media. I'm going to tell everybody all these things about how I got to this space. I'm going to share a picture. I'm going to say, I'm so happy. But there's no one talking about the in between. And there's no one talking about the difficultness that happens before you actually start doing the thing. And so when I looked at individuals who were in roles that they have been in for forever, and they
Mm-hmm.
are looking at their managers like, promote me, look at
Yes. Hello.
me,
Hello.
do these things. They are afraid to say it because if they say it, they feel that they could get demoted. They feel that their processes could get down, and they are not saying anything in a space to really uplift them to do. I want to create spaces where building these empathetic, inclusive leaders is our norm, where people are starting to listen to others who are there. But the first step that happens with all of that is speaking up, and speaking up in a space where there's trust and there's safety and there's belonging. And so the goal of this company definitely is to build more empathetic, inclusive leaders in all of our spaces, whether those leaders are our students or those leaders are our adults. But I know the first process in doing that is letting go. And then also to share the pieces in between with other people who are really trying to focus on how to do that too, but they don't know where to find it. And so through our process, we find out so much stuff. And I really want to work with our leaders, with individuals in those organizations to get them to go through these phases of letting go, which I know we're going to talk about today. And then also get into that greatness, because all of us have that in us. And sometimes if there's no roadmap, we don't know how to tap into it. But I have been tapping into anything that does not have a roadmap and creating one that's sustainable for all of us. I done shared a lot.
I am here for it. I'm so here for it, and I'm so glad that you shared it, because so much of it like spoke to me. What I hear the dash being is like the dirty, ugly stuff,
yes.
right? Like I think I talked about this last time with my last speaker. Like everybody talking about, oh, I'm on a healing journey. Oh, I'm on a healing journey. Like if you ain't snotty crying, yeah, no. If you ain't just having those moments where like a song come on, a TV show come on, a something triggers something in your being, like from your toes up. And I ain't telling nobody they're not healing. Like I ain't trying to tell you what your journey should look like. But what I am saying is, if you have not had that dirty, honest, just gritty moment, right? Know that there is somewhere deeper that you need to explore. Right, know that there's a little more work to do. So I am for those who know me very personally, know like I live in my dirtiness. Like I be in here like losing my mind a lot of days, and I'm trying to do it in public. I'm trying to do it in safe space, firstly. And I do it in spaces where I do feel safe, because I feel like we all have so much that we can teach and share and learn from each other. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate you creating space for leaders to do the dirty work, to get their hands dirty, to get knee deep in it, right? Because on day to day, so many of us are doing just dirty work. We're doing that dash work, and to have a space that supports that is so valuable. In your journey, I heard that you were literally 12 when you started in the profession. We're gonna all hear that. We all heard that. Like, okay, 12-year-old teacher, that's cute. And I like, so we both worked in district work together, and we both had the pleasure and the experience and the joy of working with what I felt like was two amazing women. Can we shout them out? We should shout them out. Can we shout them out?
Yes. Dr. Janice Jackson and Dr. Latanya McDade.
Doctors.
I hope they listen to the end.
I love these two women. We're gonna share this clip for them, because like I love these two women because they showed me that I could show up.
Yes.
They gave me a seat at a table, and they allowed me to come to that table a mess and together, and I felt heard.
Yes.
I felt so seen with both of these ladies who are like, the 1 and 2 of the third largest at that time district in the country. And these women made me feel so seen and so
Yeah,
valued and so heard. And I just want them to know from the bottom of my heart how much I admire and I appreciate both of them so much for that. Like, oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah,
And just that they cared for us as women of color at this district level. Because if you don't know, y'all, having somebody that look like you, that representation, it matters. It matters a lot. And not just somebody that looked like me, but somebody that I felt like was willing to extend that hand. Right, they was extending hands
yeah,
upwards and behind us, and so I have
yeah,
so much love and appreciation to Dr. Janice Jackson and Dr. Latanya McDay, because these are two phenomenal women who led this district. What I feel like, honestly, they led it with love and they supported
yeah.
emerging leaders like us in the district. And I'm so deeply in debt and appreciative of them. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what
And
I heard. And
I would say the role that I was in at the district,
yes,
that role was created by them.
yes,
So they wrote out what it is they wanted, and I'm so glad they wrote it out because the entire role was really on hearing the voices of the one of the stakeholder groups within our organization, and also ensuring that whoever takes this role does exactly what you said. Make sure that they are seen, make sure they are valued, and that they are heard. And although like the blueprint was not written as to how to do that, both of those individuals, both of the women that we just named into this room, said, Tamiko, we are giving this to you and we're going to trust that you get it done. And every time they was like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. But the affirmation, the part of writing out who it is that you wanted to do this and seeing that the individuals who it is impacting also say that, along with the people who wrote it out, is definitely very affirming as well. And so I hope definitely that individuals who are in leadership roles, and a leader does not have to be an adult, right? The leader can be a student,
absolutely, absolutely,
but that they
absolutely.
actually pay it forward to somebody else. Like they see, they value, and they hear the individuals who are in front of them and push them to the next level. And if they're not able to do it, they bring them in front of someone else who can, and so I feel like both Dr. Jackson and Dr. McDade did that so well, and it definitely, as you said, really empowered us to do the same in our industries too. So yes, happy Women's History Month to them. Yes,
Because they are making them
yes,
too. Oh my God. They are making all the history. And
yes,
let them know, hey, we coming. We are on y'all
yes,
footsteps. We are on y'all, we are on your heels. We are
yes,
coming. Okay.
yes.
So hey, we're gonna
Okay.
pivot because I got a whole list of questions. I sent you like 10 questions. We ain't got to none of
It's
them
all right.
questions.
We about to get to them. We
That's what
about
we said. That's what we said. Okay.
yes.
So questions. Okay. I don't know. I feel like you talked a little bit about how you got to this journey to let go and be great. But if you don't mind giving us a little bit more insight about the process. You said you were your first client, right?
Mhm.
Being your first client, how did that work? How did you know that this was the space that you needed? Like, how
Yeah.
did you get to being your first client?
Yeah. So there are two ways that we let go. One is something that's out of our control. And also there is things that you can control that you can let go of. I went through both. I went through being let go.
Mm,
And in being let go, that was a very hard process, especially if you feel and others have told you that you have done such a great work and that you are doing what is needed. And so, when it's something that's out of your control, it's hard. It's different to react than respond. And so, like you can
mm,
react to some things, and I know I talk about that in a whole nother book. But there's ways that you can react, and there are ways that you can respond to it, just as you would if you were choosing to let go on your own. And so for me, I had to first, within each of them, is acknowledge which of these spaces I was in. Was it
Mm,
something that I had control of, or was it something that controlled me in the outcome because it wasn't something I did have control of?
yeah.
And when there was an acknowledgement, that's a whole win all in itself. When you can take yourself out of the equation and really look at what the thing is for face value.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I think about me as the client, and this is the same thing that I want to do with the leaders or the individuals or the teams that come to me, is to identify which of those moments are they in. Which of those moments are they in? And now, because they got an opportunity to say it, that's the first step. Like, I am struggling, or I need support, or these are the things that I am learning in this particular process, and I want to go to that next particular phase. Doing that is the first step. And then it is choosing which journey are you on. And so for me, when it was when I did get let, it was like, for the journey, and it's all in my logo, like there are different parts of the journey where there are ellipses marks, there are commas, and there are dashes. Like, those pieces are the waiting period, like where you're like, this just happened, I let go of something, or something let go of me, and now I'm waiting for my next opportunity, or I'm waiting to determine what I need to do next, or I'm trying to figure out where I need to go, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the pieces. Or there's the questioning journey, which is like your why phase. Why did this happen to me? Why is it continuing to happen? Why are people getting to do X and not Y? Why is this occurring here and not this? Like, there's the questioning phase, right? And then there are the exclamation points, because sometimes, if you let go of something, that's a happy moment for you,
Yeah.
like you're excited
Yeah.
and you want to tell people about it, like you want to share that particular journey with other people, and there's so much joy in that
Yeah.
excitement phase. Or there are period moments, there are clarity moments where you have to put a stop to some things, and so sometimes, for me especially, I'm going to stay on the one phase, the where you couldn't control. Sometimes when I know that I was let go, that period moment when there was someone who stopped my progress was
Yeah.
actually the best moment that
Yeah.
I could have had, because the period moment told me, okay, I have to do a stop to. And every time I stopped, I end up being in another space that was bigger than the
Mm-hmm.
space that I was in if I would have
Mm-hmm.
stayed there. And sometimes there are
Mm-hmm.
things that push you out of where you are that you were not expecting, but those pushing out pieces were the best pieces in your journey. But you only got an opportunity to see that when you went through the process. Because going through the process, you probably don't think that. But like
Of course.
after you go through it, it's like, oh my God, that was why. And so that those particular journeys are the thing. And then you get to greatness when there's that realization that what you went through was all, and it wasn't for naught. Like, it was something
Right.
where you grew others by sharing your story, by sharing your process, by going through the process with somebody else, and then in it, greatness definitely occurred. And so I know, I don't know if you know this, but there were books that came out of me being still during the pandemic as a bet to my daughter to finish her writing. And all of these 9 books came out, and all of the 9 books show the process, right?
Okay, wait. You will not slide these 9 books in here. Like, we gotta
Oh,
pause for these 9 books. Like, you can't
oh
just
God.
slide 9 books in this
Yes.
story. Like, let's pause and like give these 9 books. So, okay, tell us about these books.
Oh my God. So each of these books, and I didn't realize it when I wrote it, but I realized after. And I'm going to drop some spirit in here. I'm going to drop God in here because he's very important. He's the reason why this company's. And he gave me all of these stories. And each of these stories really unpack the process. And I know, like, I'm going to show one, but like
Come
for
on,
this
show us.
one, so this is the one that was hardest for me to release. This was the one that was hardest for me to let go of. And what I found out from me letting go of it, there were so many people who needed to hear this story. and who needed to identify where they were Julys or who did things to July that prevented them from moving to the next level. But this story, for instance, has a comma and it has a question mark. It's in
Yeah.
two places. So it's in the clarity phase, sorry, not clarity, the waiting phase component and the questioning phase component. Because
Yeah.
as July was going through, she went through two stages. She went through waiting and she went through questioning as to what happened. And this story is all about responding versus reacting to things that
Mm.
happen to you. So it shows the process of July during this point. And for July, she figured out what to do on her own, but not every July can do that. That's why I am working on how to change organizational cultures and
Yes.
also how to empower the Julys around us to be more vocal. So like that's the piece in this story, right? Another story, there are some that are very like jovial and happy, especially the first one that I wrote, which is what gave my daughters. I asked them to give me like, who's the character? What's the plot? Like, what's this? And as a bet, I told you to my daughter to finish her writing, and in 7 minutes, this first story came out. I wrote it and
Wow.
finished. And that one was called Carmine Brown, the Classly Clown. It is in digital format. It is not in print, and that's going to come out in print too. But in the digital format, it is about a class clown who actually changes their stance because of something that happened with the two people who really confided in her, and they taught her a lesson that get her to change what it is that she did. And so, and that one, that is another waiting phase piece because there's some ellipses in there because Carmaine had to go through some processes and shares what those processes are. And then there are exciting ones too, as well. There's a joint one that I'm gonna do with both of my daughters on
love
period.
it.
So, and that one explores the 3 generations of periods as well. And is so much in each of these, and I use them definitely reading them to students, but also reading in organizations as they identify what their process is. And so I use that as a model for it. And when I look back at each of these stories, all of them are about the journey. And it's journeys of individuals who look just like me, who look like people that other people have been with, and they share again their process, because I want people in those conversations to do that same thing. I want you to feel that you are not alone, and I also want you to feel that if this person could do that, you can too. If we create organizations where that is always happening, it's going to be so much amazingness that comes with it, because people are going to be able to trust and care. And I know along my journey, I had to either create those spaces,
Yes,
or I found people who have those spaces, and is a lot of gains in terms of engagement, in terms of retention that happen when those spaces are created as well. So hopefully I answer that question.
you dropped. So first of all, you tried to slide in there 9 books on us. Okay, I don't know if you thought we weren't listening, right? But you tried to slide in 9 books. Like, you don't just throw in 9 books. Like, that's something we got to like have a whole question for those 9 books. So that's first of all. But secondly, I think you are onto something so fascinating when it comes to the punctuations, right?
Yes.
And like the journey that can be created in that space. I'm putting my therapist hat on, right?
Yes.
And it's so much in therapy work where I feel like that ideology would marry perfectly and would honestly make people approaching some therapeutic practices so much easier, because this is something that we understand at a very different level, right?
Yes.
I love that piece where you talked about like acknowledgement, acknowledging our journey, acknowledging where we're at. I think about, in my work with healing practices and like healing center as like the focus, so much of healing is first acknowledging that it's something.
Yes.
is happening. It's some we need to work on, work out, work through. Something ain't right, and making space for that. I love that you talked about safety. For those of you who are tuning in and you are leading companies, leading organizations, you are running a team, right? Making sure that we take intentional steps towards creating safety is so important. And also understanding that what is safe for you may not be safe for me.
Yeah.
And how do I make space for this exchange of conversations?
Yes.
Right? So that we can get to a universal, holistic, safe space. And then when we think about how do we transcend that to our students, right? So not like I think I'm old school, because I know I'm not old school. Like, what? No. But when you work with kids,
yes,
kids will make you think you old school. Like, wait a minute, I'm not old school. But again, I share this because if your kids see you as old school or whatever they see you at, what is safe for you is not safe for them. What worries you or what worried you as a young person are not the same worries that our young people are navigating today. And so how do we as adults remove our egos, because that's usually what's getting in the way, to show up and create safe space for our students? So that's what I heard.
Yes. And you know what I'm finding? So every time I do a professional, so the workshops with the stories are called motivational moment workshops. And what I will do is based on whoever it is that's asking, they'll share like which phase they are in. And then we choose which story could go with that phase to read to that audience. The one that has been coming up a lot in a lot of the workshops that I've done recently was the Joyce There's Power in Your Voice story. And in that particular one, we talk about like moving from silence to speaking. And what I'm finding every single time that I read that story, it not only needs to be the students in the room, it has to be adults in the room who are going to take what the students say and do something about it.
That part.
I don't want people in the room who are just going to be happy-go-lucky people to listen and be like, oh, girl, that was so great that you shared. Or, oh, young man, that was so awesome that you shared. No, because what students are sharing is, this is why I'm not speaking up to this particular person. These are the things that have hurt me. And these are the things that I need to have somebody address, because if not, I'm going to remain silent. Or if not, I'm not going to know who I can confide in to share this particular thing to. And the space of safety for students to share that is amazing, right? Which I'm grateful that each of these stories have created those safe spaces for adults or students to share. But also the work comes in, and that's one of the hashtags that I use, like we got work to do. One of the work that comes in is what is being done after these things are shared. And I know what I work with people on is accountability. Like if we said we're going to do this, then this is what we need to do. And this is how I'm a coach by heart, right? And an educator by heart too. But there has to be some sort of accountability, because what people are sharing in these moments is not something that should be taken for granted. It is, they're sharing it. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. And I think like the next phase of it, the to-do part, has to be with the person.
Exactly. Yes.
It can't be, I'm gonna do this for you, right? Yes. Like it has to, we have to create space to empower people to do the work with them.
Yes.
Ain't nobody, listen, y'all, we ain't out here looking for nobody to save us.
Yep.
We ain't.
Yep.
We ain't looking for you to save us. I'm looking for you to get dirty with me.
Yes.
It ain't enough to be woke. It ain't enough to be like, but are you, what are we doing together?
Yes.
Right.
And that's why it's the we. That's why it's the we. Yes.
This is a we effort.
Yes.
And one of the people even in the chat said, because like we all we got.
Yes.
That's right. Because we are all we have, and we have to do it together. We have to collaborate and work in this collective way together. Yes. And that's from adult to student or child, to adult to one in leadership, right? Or of power, right? We have to be willing to do this work together. Listen, we in here. It's Monday. Okay, we out here having Friday conversations on a Monday, but I'm here for it. Okay, I am here for it. We about to change the whole world on a Monday at lunchtime. So those two things, right? So again, this is such an interesting space to be in. For those of you who joined us, I'm Tanisha Jointer from Investor Consulting Firm. You can follow me at Investor Consulting Firm on Instagram, and I am with the Tamiko from Let Go Be Great. And people can follow you where?
At Let Go Be Great on Facebook, Instagram, and also LinkedIn and YouTube.
Perfect. And we are just having this conversation about letting go. Now, Tamiko, we talked a bit before we got on before because we was in here having us a good time, y'all. We was chatting it up, putting on lip gloss because that's what we asked you for, y'all. That ain't even the way. But one of the things we were talking about was surrender.
Yes.
In that process of letting go. Surrender, y'all. Again, folks that don't know me personally, surrender is something that I have a really hard time doing. Like I am gonna hold on to all the things, right? I am gonna hold on for dear life, even when it's time for me to let go of the thing, right?
Yes.
So I appreciate this conversation, and it's funny because surrendering was something that has come up in the last 3 or 4 conversations, right? Which is affirming to me of this is something I need to hear in this moment right now. But I want you to, because we talked a bit just about surrendering and what comes with that process of surrendering. And I know you talked about it, letting go of things you have control over. I'm even curious about the things that we don't have control over, and our capacity to surrender to the things. Is it any more, I guess, to add when it comes to the surrendering part before we get to being great?
Are you saying share more about the letting go when you don't have control or when you do have control?
I think in either space, just the process of surrendering, like how do we get to that process? Because and I don't know, because I think, do I see surrender and letting go as the same thing? Or maybe that's the question too. Like, are they the same thing? Is the surrender and the let go? And maybe that's the first question even.
I think it just I'm only going to talk about my experience, right? I have to be honest about just mine, and I can definitely talk about others. So for me, I know Tamiko likes to control things. I like to plan out. This is what we're going but this is when we're going to have this event. I am going to make sure that I have these boundaries here, and this is what's going to happen. Or you can only come into this space when I say, you can come into it. Like that is part, the rigidity of things. Like I try to have a rigid space, like, and that's my trying. But sometimes there are things that happen that I can't even foresee. Like there are things that happen that I wasn't even seeing coming. And so in instances that I don't see something coming, it gets me to stop trying to plan and try to think everything out to do exactly what you said, which is I don't have it. Like I'm throwing up my hands. What do I need to do? Who do I need to bring into the circle? How can I let pride go and say like this is what it is that I need? How can I open up to share? This is where I'm struggling. This is what just happened. I don't know what I'm doing, or I thought that it was gonna go this way and it didn't. Like all of those things are pieces I know that starts within when I make the decision that I can't do it alone, or I can't do this on my own. And for me, like it has definitely been an eye-opening thing where I have to pause and say, like, okay, God, what are you trying to show me in this moment? Or what is it that I'm learning? Because this don't add up. And usually when things don't add up, like that is the perfect opportunity for things to start working and for things to just move in your favor. And for me, it is like the minute I release all the things, every single thing that's holding me back, or release the thing of trying to figure every single thing out, then there's a different sense of, you know what, I'm gonna, instead of me doing, I'm gonna listen. Instead of
Yes.
me trying to find the right way to do things, I'm just gonna sit still, which is very hard for
Ooh.
Tamiko to do, right? And maybe hard for a lot of people on this call to do, but I'm gonna raise two hands and be like, yes, that is definitely
And
me.
toes.
Still is very hard to do when it is you are used to doing so much and there's something that comes out of left field that gets you to be like, okay, like what's needed in this next step. And so I think really paying attention to those moments. Sometimes we can gloss
Yeah.
over, but I know for many, and I know for me, like the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic was the perfect opportunity
Yes.
for me to sit still. Perfect opportunity for me to be like, well, I thought I was going to go to work today. I thought I was going to do X, Y, and Z. And nope, you have to sit your butt right here and figure out what you're going to do in this space that you probably just been neglecting, or you probably didn't have time to see the cracks in the walls or the cracks in these different spaces. And so in the moment of surrendering, those are
Mm.
blessings. The moments of letting go, I just want people to hear like those are blessings. Don't miss the blessing in the letting go. Do not miss it because there's so much that stuff. I'm sorry, I get so, oh my God. But there's
I
so much joy
it.
that comes, and there's so much stillness that comes when you are just like, I can't do it. And sometimes it gets you to retreat and isolate yourself. That's the worst thing to do during this time. But also it gets you to really sit back and think about like, what do I need to do in order to move forward? I'm given this opportunity. It's not an opportunity I expected, but I'm giving this opportunity to just chill for a moment. And so
Yeah.
however long that may take, you are present in that moment and you are going to take it. And I just hope that when you are in it, that you do take some time to think, but also take the time to ask, also take the time to reach out, also take the time to journal, also take the time to reflect. Don't use it as a missed opportunity. If we
Yes.
start thinking on the thing, we're going to focus on that thing instead of what we're going to be learning in the moment. So I said a lot.
I love it. And I know that there's somebody that needed to hear that. I know for me, there were parts that I needed to hear. That being still part, like I always think I gotta be going and doing, right? That I have to do all the things. And if I don't do all the things, then the whole house gonna fall apart. And what I feel like I heard you say was like some trusting of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Being willing to listen and trust yourself in this process. What I felt like I heard you say was vulnerability
Yes.
and having a safe space. I
Yes.
heard you say still. I heard you say the listening. What I also felt like I heard you say in that was like having a space, having a network,
Yes.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think sometimes we can again get so wrapped up in the what am I doing and the I and the me and we don't have or think about the we. And if you don't have anybody in your network that you can go to at your darkest of hours, at your your broken down snotty noses of time, and that these people ain't gonna love on you and support you, you need to find a new network. You need to find a new tribe. You need to find a new search. You need to find a new village, because it is so much growth and strength in us being able to lean on one another and to have that type of love, that unconditional, unjudgmental love and support. And so I think sometimes in the midst of our storms, just knowing that we have everything that we need to weather that storm.
Yes.
And so it's just about riding the storm out, because there is some joy. There is
Yes.
a rainbow. There is some sunshine on the other side of that. There's some greatness, right?
Yes.
On the other side of that. So I want to thank you for that. Like, I know that question definitely was not on our list. like most of these were not.
Okay.
But I think it was just necessary, and you answered it beautifully. So thank you so much for that, and for just the vulnerability in answering the question. I really appreciate that. Um, so looking at this time, I want to respect your time as well as the time of folks who are tuning in. I want us to talk about that bit of greatness. Just like like I be like, let me tell you something about greatness. I remember once upon a time where being great was probably my biggest fear.
Hmm.
Just like honest to God, like a fear of like what happens if I'm actually good. And I wonder, right? Like how does that show up? Not well, I know what it did in my life, right? But I'm thinking about other people who are just scared of their greatness.
Hmm.
Um I think about the role that perfectionism plays on our capacity to be great. Like we sometimes want to compare ourselves to other people's standards and what they're doing, and how does that get in the way of our greatness? And I guess, Tamiko, what I want to know from you is what advice do you have to people about accessing their greatness?
Woo, girl.
I'm sorry, that was a loaded question for 15 minutes, but I mean, let's go for it. I'll give some extra time if you got it, girl.
So, the okay. I'm sorry. I keep bringing God in. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's what I just heard. Um, knowing that like you are not an accident, knowing that the things that you have within your hand are all things that are going to be used to guide you and guide everybody else. Um, and there are things that each of us have that nobody else has. And I know for me, sometimes the roles that I have been in, and I said this before, there was not a roadmap for how to do the roles.
Mhm.
Um, but there were things that were inside that I know that I needed, and also I know that I had that benefited someone else and that benefited me in
Mm.
that moment. And these were things I had in my hand. The role or the journey, whatever else it is, all those things are components that you are learning right now that is going to benefit somebody else. And so I'm saying all of that to say every single one of us has the capacity to move into greatness. And as Tanisha said before, sometimes we doubt it, either because we have not seen that being
Mhm.
done before, either we may be the first to do that thing. Either we feel because there's something that somebody else said to us to make us be small when is
Mm.
greatness inside of us. And
Yes.
what I want to challenge every single person to do in order to tap into the greatness is just write down like, what is it that you're really good at? Like, what are the things that if you could teach somebody else how to do this thing? Is there some things you can't really teach others? Like you can't take to teach people how. There's some things you can't. I'm not even gonna go there. But when you start really realizing like these are my strengths and I am going to operate in those strengths. When I see somebody weak in the thing that I'm really strong at, I'm not going to
Yeah.
hold back to that. I'm not going to hold
Yeah.
back from that. I am going to use this in this moment because this is the strength that I have within me. And when we start thinking about like, these are the things I bring into the table. These are the things that I know that I have to equip not only myself, but others. I guarantee you are starting to see that greatness. I guarantee you stand up a lot taller. I guarantee you walk with
Yeah.
confidence. I guarantee that you move with purpose. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes we have to take out all of the negative self-talk. That's the first. Have to
Mhm.
take out all of the things that people have said to demean us for who it is we are when we are already a people of great expectations. And so when you start knowing that and when you start living in that, like, I have a purpose, I am on this earth to fulfill it. Like, and I am going to fulfill it. The journey, and I don't know where all this coming from, but we're gonna go. Like the journey that I have went through is going to do X, Y, and Z for not only my generation, but future generations to come.
Absolutely.
And I have to walk in that journey every single day. When you start speaking to yourself things of life, things of hope, nothing else is going to change that. You are already destined for all of the things that have already been in your path. It's just
Yeah.
walking in it and walking in. The other thing that Tanisha said before is your network is important. And so, like on this path, especially if you've been doing something and this is your first time doing it, there are going to be people who, in order to keep you safe, are going to say, like,
Mhm.
no, don't do that right now. I don't know if you
Yeah.
have you to do.
Yeah.
And because they're trying to keep you safe, they don't want you to fail, right? But the greatness journey is going to involve risk. It is going to involve moments where you do fail. But again, if you know and you tap into like, these are the things that I have, and I have all of this in me to do, there's no you are going to fail. Like you are just going to keep going. And so if that means your greatness journey, you need to have people in front of you, like pictures of people who have made it and pictures of
Yeah.
people in your industry who have done that. Do that. But the greatness is going to come the moment that you continue to move into your power, move into all of those particular things that you already have in your hands to do. So if you don't know what's in your hands, just start writing down like, this is the impact that I've been making. This is what I did that changed the needle. This is how I use my voice to empower and to advocate. This is how I did X, Y, and Z. You'll start getting what those particular pieces are and
Mhm.
you walk in it.
Yep. I'm like, yep. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, because so I have words of the year, right? Every year
Yes.
I select a word, and this is my word of the year, and I'm gonna actively work at that word of the year. And one year my word was like to be great, and like everything I did it with that intention of being great,
Yes.
and so much so that it was like my password. Like I am great, right? Like because
Yes.
I needed to know, I needed to remind myself. I think Serena Williams does that too. Like she has a password thing. But anyway,
Yes. Yeah.
um, because I needed that reminder, and I what resonates with me is just that like when you are the first one doing it, right? I am the first of many things in my family, in my network, and it's scary a lot of the times, right? It is so scary to be the first one to jump out and take that risk and that leap. But it is when you are surrounded by people, and I think this is my journey. Like I am surrounded by people that believe in my greatness more than I think I believe in it on most
Yes.
days.
Yes.
And it is these people who push me to continue to strive for
Yes.
greatness. And for anybody that is on a journey that is involved in your greatness, know that as you change, as you grow, as you evolve, as you elevate, that greatness may shift too. That northern star that you chase, like that may go a different way. So we may have this one benchmark. It's like I am great if I do this thing, right? But there may be something else in you, and so keep going and keep exploring because it may not be that first benchmark of
Yes.
greatness, and that greatness evolve as we do. Tamiko, thank you so much for this amazing conversation. You so first of all, you told us you had two endeavors, and it's really three. So I would like you to. So it's the women's
So the Every Woman
collect.
Project. Yep. Every Woman Project, Chicago chapter. Yes.
So let's talk a bit about that. How can people support you?
Hmm.
What are things that you're looking for? I'm trying to get back traveling so I can bring you all of the travel stuff. Because let me tell y'all, I have been collecting all of my stuff from travel. I'm like, give me all these travel stuffs because I got to get this to Tamiko. And then I like collect it for a nice little while, and I come walk into her house with this big old bag, looking crazy. But so how can people support your Every Woman Project? Let's start there.
Yes. So you can support the Every Woman Project. We have a page on Eventbrite, and it's Every Woman Project Chicago. And you can go to that page every third Saturday of the month. We meet either online or in person. There's also an event calendar within that Eventbrite where you can see what are our in person dates and what are our online dates. And this program, this project, has been fueled on donations. That's how we're able to survive. So if you have any feminine hygiene products, any toiletries, any nut-free products, anything that is on your heart to give, I never turn anything away. So you can bring those to the Comer Center, which is where we meet, or you can message me via Eventbrite at everywomanprojectchicago@gmail.com as well. So that is one venture. I would love just to get as many supplies. And we'll be meeting this Saturday, actually at the Gary Comer Center in person. And we're doing a tribute to women everywhere. So I'm asking everyone to bring a woman or a girl with them who has been inspirational in their life. We're going to speak life into each other as we speak life into the individuals who get our packages every month. We'll be packing about 600 bags this month to go to those organizations, shelters, and schools.
And so if anybody is listening, you yourself, your organization, you know somebody else's organization that can donate,
Yes.
please contact Tamiko, contact me as well, and we can coordinate those efforts. But we want to make sure that like we are actually, again, support each other because we are legitimately all we have. So let's make sure we're supporting each other. Project number 2.
Yes.
It's Let Go Be Great. You want to remind people again what you do and how to contact you?
Yes. So Let Go Be Great is educational consulting firm. We work with people, teams, and businesses to move them from complacency to greatness. And we do it through storytelling, through professional learning, and also our Be Great resources, which range from our t-shirts and our books and journals, all of that, especially to motivate, encourage, and inspire, but also to make people feel seen, valued, and heard. And so you can find it. You can find more about it on our website, which is letgo-begreat.com, or you can follow all this Let Go Be Great journey on Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube. I do videos around different components of the business, and then also on LinkedIn as well. We have a business page on there, and it's all at Let Go Be Great.
And then the last project that you tried to sneak in on us, these 9 books that you didn't even want us to know about. Tell us more. How can we support that?
Yeah, so I would love to do these motivational moment workshops with students, with organizations, especially on building an inclusive culture. And so you can find out more about that too on our website under our team consulting page. They're all there. The books can be found on Amazon, and they can also be found, the books and journals can also be found on Amazon or on our website. And there'll be 2 books that are coming out today. And so one of them, the Joyce Joyce, There's Power in Your Voice. And then also there's a journal on celebrating all things me so that people can start documenting the celebration journeys, these exclamation mark moments throughout their journey as well.
Y'all see how she just slid in there now? Now she's sliding in the journals, right? She barely wanted to give us the books. Now she's sliding in the journals. Tamiko, you play too much.
It's a lot of different things.
We do this all of this.
Follow the journey. It's growing. It's growing.
But I love and appreciate you for just showing up in this space, for sharing, for reminding us all that we all have a path to greatness, that we all have greatness within us, reminding us the value and the joy that comes in surrendering and letting go. And even in that let go process, what may feel like a failure is really just that setup. It is the, what do they say, the setup for the comeback or the comeback, whatever. Like, it's one of them things, right? It is that thing that we have to go through. Like, failure is not a failure. It is a opportunity of growth and opportunity of learning. So I just really appreciate you so much for coming into this space and sharing so much about your journey, about your process, about your growth, and about ways in which we can all support your efforts. All three of them. Uh, we all can support your efforts because they are all very beautiful. And hopefully, we can all, again, just wrap our arms around you and support you in that way. For those of you, again, who don't know me, my name is Tanisha Jointer. I am the founder of Investor Consulting Firm. You can follow me at Investor Consulting Firm on Instagram. You can also check out our website on www.investorconsultingfirm.com. I need to do better with my personal LinkedIn. I'll be the first one to own that. I also need to do better at posting on my business, on my website. But it is a process. It's a journey, y'all. I'm just trying to do good work and be good and be kind to people. But I appreciate you so much, Tamiko. I'm going to ask you to close us out with a final word. And thank you all so much for taking time out of your day. I'll turn it over to you, Tamiko.
Final word, do not be afraid to be
Mm.
authentically you in every space you step in. And know that the journey is going to be all worth it the minute you let go so that you can be great. That's it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Tamiko. Thank you, everybody, for being so active in this chat. Y'all are killing it today.
I want to see it.
Yeah, they've been showing out in this chat. So thank you so much. Shout out to Alan. I see Norma, Erica.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much for participating. Janae, Shalita, I think. Please don't.
Yeah, Erica.
Giving all the love. And we just appreciate y'all so much. So thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. You all go on and be great. Have a good one.